an extraterrestrial. Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial.
Doctor?
Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial.
Doctor?
Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the BTS House Show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Thank you guys for tuning in. Give me 1 second. I know I should have had this done, but of course I'm working on the last minute stuff. Here's what's going on. This Thursday we will not be doing a show, and I didn't want to do 3 weeks of. All right, the hell. Let's try that again. I didn't want to do 3 weeks of delays when it comes to the show, so I wanted to go ahead and get this out early. And not only am I getting it out early, there we go. Yeah, not only am I getting it out early, I'm gonna see if I can do another one tomorrow. I have something lined up that I want to do, and we're gonna do it sometime tomorrow. I'm not to say I won't do it, get it off your chest, but I just want to just do something. That's all, in order to make up for missing Thursday. But while I'm still trying to get this stuff organized and situated, because I'm gonna see if I could add another platform to this. So while I'm still in the midst of fixing that, do me a favor. If you want to see more content like this, excuse me, where my note page, there we go. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe and share to a friend. Follow me on all social links are located in the description. Participate, waive all rights to privacy. Yes, I dropped the link. I know. And we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person we'll get $100 during the Cash App giveaway. Excuse me. Today, we are doing all world reaction. I was gonna say this, obviously, like I said, I can't necessarily say this Thursday because, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, good news. Not only does Grayson start the first grade on Thursday, and I will be dropping him off at school, but right afterwards, I'm going to go pick up the keys for my new place, my new apartment. So that should be fun. And I still gotta go to work after doing all of that. So Thursday's gonna be an eventful day, so I had to cancel the show. But I want to do something. Like I said, I want to do this right now. All right, now that I got that taken care of, let's see if I can add a new audio app that I've been on for the past week and a half now. Okay, they still doing that room. But in that, while I'm getting this situated, Kirk Franklin went on Cam New's podcast. I have not watched that thing in its entirety, so but don't worry, the links are located in the description. There was a clip that I saw on Neighborhood Talk, and it was going, as you expected, pretty damn viral. And I just wanted to, are you serious? And it's something I wanted to speak on. I think it's worth talking about. Recording, explicit content, starting now. Da 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 da. In the thumbnail. I just asked Kevin, you say build it as you fly. Okay, here we go. Now we can get this. Now we can get this started. All right, let's do this. Um, I don't want to just. There we go. And can we start this room? Hold on, y'all. We're about to get it started. And oops. All right, let's turn on the camera. There we go. There we go. Now we're officially here. Night is. What's good, OG? How you feeling? All right, y'all. Simulcast. I should have put this on IG, but we'll catch that later. Simulcast, YouTube, and of course, you guys as well. So let's get started. Kirk Franklin had an interesting take regarding marriage being weaponized by obviously older folks, Christian folks, spiritual folks, religious folks. So that's something we're gonna briefly talk about to this evening. So I'm gonna play the first clip. We're gonna go over that. Then we'll be right back.
Believe that marriage has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Giving has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Sexuality has been weaponized. For example, any woman listening to this can attest in our culture. Don't be no 30, 35-year-old single black woman and go to the family reunion. All the older women are gonna do them, they're gonna look at you and wonder, why you not married?
Where your man at? Where your kids at?
Like it's a prerequisite for identity and value. That if you don't have a man, if you don't have kids, that something about you is broken. Do you understand how dysfunctional these messages are?
Yeah.
And how we super spiritualize these messages. Paul said, but marriage is a necessary distraction.
So let's go over this real quick. Now I should have did this earlier, but it's in my mind. I didn't do an exceptional job of this. That's my fault. But let's define marriage real quick. What would be a much more accurate definition versus all these shit jumbled up together? Okay. Any of the diverse forms of interpersonal union established in various parts of the world to form a familiar bond that is recognized legally, religiously, or socially, granting the participating partners mutual conjugal rights and responsibilities, and including, for example, well, we're not going to get into that. We're just going to keep it on Christian religious side, because you obviously know how I get down, and also weaponized to supply or equip with a weapon or weapons to weaponize trucks and helicopters uh, for use of weapon. So with that clip, marriage has been weaponized against um, single young folks, single Christians, religious believers, so on and so forth. And because of this weaponization, this causes people to be turned off by a multitude of things. They get turned off from being married. They get turned off from the church. They get turned off from God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And you guys know how I get down. That's my ideology. So I don't have a problem with what Kirk Franklin is saying at all, because this is coming from a place of experience. This is coming from something he has witnessed, and obviously he's not talking out the side of his neck. He knows what he's talking about. When it comes to this unnecessary pressure to get married, if you don't have to get married, don't get married. That's something I have told people in the past year, actually years now. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. If you're not equipped to get married, don't get married. Because you don't want to put yourself, sorry, Nico, for something. Because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where it's ultimately going to fail and everybody's going to judge you. We'll get to that part of the clip much later. Like if you're like, now he said about women in their 30s when they go around family members, particularly older one. Like Cam Newton's right with what his verbiage is. Where your man at? Where your kids at? How come you're not married? How come you haven't started the process? What's more important than a having a husband? Excuse me, having a husband or having kids, or in this case, really just having a spouse. Because the same thing goes for men. Men get the same smoke too from other women, particularly older women in their family. That smoke is a given. Unfortunately, if they're not married, I would say don't pressure them, don't push them, because you don't know. Ultimately, you're going to create a monster. So that's where we want to start warning people. Well, warning those who like to use those verbiage and put that stigma on people to get married. If you're not ready, don't do it. If you're not ready, do not do it. No one should force you to do anything against your will, against something you don't desire to do. Or you might want to get married, you just don't want to get married right now, and that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. Matter of fact, if you give me a moment, I'm gonna play the next clip. You give me a moment, I'm gonna go find a Bible verse that proves that if you don't want to get married, you don't necessarily have to get married, and we can go into that in a minute. Here's a second clip.
I have many friends that were in ministry at church, and the churches told them, if you're going to be in ministry, you can't be single. We're not going to let you work with the youth ministry if you're single. You can't do this if you're single. And so what people do, they quickly get married thinking that they're fulfilling God's will for their lives, but they are fulfilling man's dogma. You can be single and be used by God. You can be single and have purpose. Being married is not a prerequisite for God's hand on your life. It is not, but we've weaponized it.
He's absolutely right. Yes, God shows favors to those who are married. However, God doesn't neglect those who are single. Matter of fact, if you are single, you can still be utilized in the kingdom of God. You can still be utilized by doing His work in the in this world out here. To say that if you're single, God is not looking your direction, God is never going to touch you, is a fallacy. To say that you have to be married to serve in the church is foolish. Um, Now the question is, why is that narrative always always being pushed? Hold on, y'all. Let me see. If this is the verse This is the verses I was looking for. Okay, I think this is it. I'll read that in a minute. I think the reason why that's pushed is because it is a good look to see married couples at the helm of any position anywhere, honestly, especially in the church. It's a attractive visual to see the pastors marry. It's an attractive visual to see the elders of the church marry. That's how it is, and the other preachers as well. Yeah, that does look more attractive. However, that doesn't mean because you're single, you cannot be utilized by the Lord our Father. That is a misconception that has been spread throughout the churches throughout the years. So I'm glad Kirk is saying something. Lord knows whenever this conversation comes up, I have said something. So the fact that he's pushing out there, and this is one thing I like about Kirk. Uh, he will speak out against the uh, the norms that we do in church, which is not biblically supported. He will speak out against that. And this is the type of person that we want to see, that we need at the helm. Honest people who can be honest about what's going on. Not to say take accountability as if they're the ones that did it, but to acknowledge that the church has did something wrong to you, and that plays a part in why you may or may not be as close as to God as you might want it to be, or that you might should be. In case of me, I would never. I won't name drop. He's on Clubhouse. Conversation last year. He had our own conversation about the church, and he told us what the church did to him. And I stood up and say that church was wrong. As a child of God, I'm sorry that you went through that. You should have never had to gone through that at all. Obviously, I didn't do nothing to him, but I wanted to say, as part of the body of believer, I had to let him know what the church did should not have been done. They let you down, and they should be held accountable for that. Obviously, legally, there's nothing you can do to the church to hold them accountable. But if you believe in a higher power, and what goes around comes around. You mistreat God's children, God got something for you, and He always gets His get back. Now, let's actually watch this last video because I think this hits home. This last clip is only a couple of seconds, so just pay attention. If you need me to play it again, just let me know.
And then crucify people. Where my camera at?
Right
and
there.
And then crucify people when those same marriages don't.
Fail.
He's right. How does this make sense? I'm pressuring you. I'm constantly hounding you to get married. I'm constantly pushing for you to walk down the aisle. I'm doing that, and you actually do it. A terrible foundation to get married, by the way, because somebody making you do it or somebody pressure you to do it. But let's just say I tell you I'm always throwing marriage in your face. I'm telling you to get married. You actually do it, and that marriage fails. Now I can come back and blame you for that marriage failing. What? I didn't want to get married to begin with, but you kept on putting this on me to do. I did what you want me to do. It didn't work, and now that's my fault. What kind of sense does that make? Who wants to sign up for that? Stuff like that push people away from the church. Stuff like that push people away from God. Stuff like that push people away from the bodies of believers. See, when people talk about the people of the church and how they were treated, I see how. I understand where they come from. Now, has anybody in the church mistreated me? Not to the extent that from the stories or testimonies or words that people tell me. Never had that issue. Yeah, I never had that issue, and it was never going to rise to any extent because as an adult, I can handle myself. And back then when I was a child, all I got to do is just look to my dad, and be like, and nope. Boy, usually when the father's around, you tend to tread carefully. But there's neither here or there. So when people, when he say the word weaponize, yes, you use weapon as a guilt trip to get someone to get married, so they can stop whatever lifestyle they're probably living in. There's a way to do that, but you don't have to weaponize marriage at all. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be their decision whether they want to get married or not. And why would you manipulate them to do something that they're not ready to do right now? They might need another month. They might need a couple of months. They might need uh, a year, or whatever the case may be. But to force them to do something right now when they don't have the tools to properly do it, it's foolhardy. So Kirk Franklin is absolutely right with what he said. And obviously, the full clip is in the description. The full stream is there as well. I just reacted to this clip that was going viral a couple of days ago because I think this is something worth talking about. I'm aware there's going to be some people say that he's wrong. I'm just going to tell you right now, I respectfully disagree. I understand it's cool to attack those who are of the cloth. Doesn't surprise me. But it is what it is. Kirk didn't say anything wrong. And so much so that I dropped the link. Uh, but I can revisit this conversation later. If somebody wants to have that conversation with me, not that hard to find. And obviously, I'm here on this other app as well. I'm not saying this name. I'm not saying the name because we're simulcasting. But if anybody wants to listen to the replay, want to question me about that, we can do that as well. Now, regarding marriage, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna do the New Century Version because I'm not about to go through the King James. At least not at this time of the night. I'll do that another time. We're gonna do 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 25 because I want to show you something. And obviously go do your own research on your own time regarding this. Uh, Verse 25. Now I write about people who are not married. I have no command from the Lord about this. I give my opinion. This is the author of 1 Corinthians, by the way. But I can be trusted because the Lord has shown me mercy. The present time is a time of trouble, so I think it is good for you to stay the way you are. What? The present time is a time of trouble. So I think it is good for you to stay the way you are. That means, due to the surroundings, there might not be a suitable. I almost said fitter. Well, there might not be a suitable fit as far as your spouse goes. So you may just want to hold on because you don't want to marry just anybody. That makes no sense. But let's continue. If you have a wife, do not try to become free from her. If you are not married, do not try to find a wife. Let me read that again. If you have a wife, do not try to become free from her. That means don't get a divorce if you don't have to. That makes no sense. If you are not married, do not try to find a wife for it, especially if you're in trouble. If there's no suitors around you that qualifies. Yeah, the answer is no. Because if you decide to marry, you have not sinned. And if a girl who has never married decides to marry, she has not sinned. Okay, that's self-explanatory. Let's continue. But those who marry will have trouble in this life, and I want you to be free from trouble. Before we get to the 29, if I had to surmise what that is, we're just gonna go verse by verse. I'm gonna clear my head, but just gonna read it through. That pretty much means this marriage life is not easy. Marriage life is not easy in general. So if you're gonna go through this, they're gonna show you how to do it so you can be less stressed as much as possible. Let's go to 29. Brothers and sisters, this is what I mean. We do not have much time left. So starting now, those who have wives should live as if they had no wives. Hmm. Those who have wives should live as if they had no wives. Let's keep reading for context. I want to see where this goes. Those who are crying should live as if they were not crying. Those who who are happy should live as if they were not happy. Those who buy things should live as if they own nothing. Those who use the things of the world should live as if they were not using them, because this world in its present form will soon be gone. Oh, that's more or less living. How what I believe is saying more or less is just to live in the moment. Um, that's not saying when you're married, don't act like you're not married, because a lot of time that verse can be used for when you get married, you get older, and you're so incontent in your marriage that you're kind of what's what I'm looking for. I say this word for security all the time. I forgot. I can't believe I just forgot the word just like that. That is a crime in of itself. But well, I'm pretty sure it's gonna come to me after the stream. But pretty much, oh, going through the motions. There you go. You're going through the motions of marriage, and you need to remember the times when you was not married. Like those, go back to those happy times, or those. And while you're going through those happy times, you go through it and have bring that energy to your marriage, so it won't die out, so it won't burn out. 32. I want you to be free from worry. A man who is not married is busy with the Lord's work, trying to please the Lord. Hmm. A man who is not married is busy with the Lord's work, trying to please the Lord. Yeah, if you're not married, if you're not married, you got to have other real obligations. You need to be focused on God. But a man who is married is busy with things of the world, trying to please his wife. He must think about two things: pleasing his wife and pleasing the Lord. A woman who is not married or a girl who has never married is busy with the Lord's word. So yeah, okay, single man, single woman. You're not married. You're not prioritizing anybody else above you outside of God. So you need to keep your focus on that. Let's see. That was my footing short day. There we go. She wants to be holy in the body and spirit, but a married woman is busy with things of the world as to how she can please her husband. Well, and that will get credits to the pecking order of let me not say that, because a lot of people's going to try to take that out of context, and that I won't allow to happen. So let me keep moving. So she's prioritizing other things. It's the same thing as a man. It's the married man. You guys are married. You guys are prioritizing each other. Where the man is prioritizing her and also prioritizing God as well. That's because he has submitted himself to a higher power. Now, what did I tell women? Don't submit yourself to no man who has never submitted himself to a higher power. If a man submits himself to God, you're going to see God through him. So you're not necessarily submitting to the man itself. You're submitting to God through the man. So you're ultimately submitting yourself to God. So let's continue. Um, I am saying this to help you, not to limit you, but I want you to live in the right way to give yourself fully to the Lord without concerns for other things. That's nice to say. We agree. We appreciate the assistance, the advice. Let's see. Is there anything else? Okay, here we go. If a man thinks he is not doing the right thing with the girl he is engaged to, if she is almost past the best age to marry and feels he should marry her, he should do what he wants. If you're not going to if you don't feel like you're ready for marriage, don't get married. If if you're with this chick, stop wasting her time. if you're not going to marry her. Throw her back to the streets. Well, not the meaning put her back because you're not trying to make her honest woman. I wasn't meaning this part.
She belongs to the streets.
That's not what I meant when I said streets. So I just want to throw that out there. Actually, let me continue. Let me read that. Start from the beginning. If a man thinks he is not doing the right thing with the girl he is engaged to, if she is almost past the best age to marry and he feels he should marry her, he should do what he wants. If you're going to marry her, marry her. If you're not going to marry her, don't marry her, but don't waste her time neither. They should get married if it's no sin. Agreed. But if a man is sure in his mind that there is no need for marriage and has his own desires under control and has decided not to marry the one to whom he is engaged, he is doing the right thing. Meaning, you don't want to get married, don't get married. As I said, you don't have to get married. So the man who marries a girl does right, but the man who does not marry will do better. And keep in mind, the context of this conversation is the environment. There's no suitors out there. That's not to say there's no suitors anywhere. There's just no suitors in your current vicinity. That's what the context of this text is talking about. So you marry someone, cool. But if you don't marry, that's better because the people around you doesn't fit the criteria for a married woman, especially if you're a believer of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And if you surround yourself with those who don't meet that ideology, there's no point, there's no reason to marry them because that will be a conflict of interest. That's all this pastor is saying. And let me finish off. A woman must stay with her husband as long as he lives, but if her husband dies, she is free to marry. Okay, free to marry any man she wants, but must marry another believer. Obviously, like I said, keep it within the family as far as ideology goes. The woman is happier if she does not marry again. This is my opinion, but I believe I also have God's spirit. So you guys can go read that for full context, the author and whatever that case may be. But in the case of me bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, we have to stop trying to weaponize marriage and put people in a situation that they don't want to be in or they're not equipped to be in. If you do so, you're going to start pushing people away. When you force things on people, that's predatory. And if you start to get the eyes, you start to get the appearance of a predator, then you have really you're not doing God any type of favors because you're harming the children. So, like I said, everything that Kirk Franklin said in this video, I 1000% agree. But like I said, guys are more than welcome to talk to me about it to see if I'm wrong. I highly doubt it, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for tuning in. And this was technically my first official room on this side of the audio app. But we're going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. On your way out, if you like this video, hit the like button. Dislike, hit the dislike, subscribe, and share. Follow me on all social links that are located in the description. Participate, waive all rights and privacy. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one local person will get $100 during the Cash App giveaway. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm about to go to bed. BTSI Show, Christopher J. Talk to you guys later.
Extraterrestrial. Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial.
Doctor,
Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like an extra